So what are we going to do today? We're definitely looking at effective approaches for teaching and learning, definitely. So that you can maximise the potential for numerical reasoning and problem solving in your everyday maths lessons as well as across the curriculum. Because we have our everyday maths lessons and we have our other curriculum areas. So we're looking to help you identify those opportunities in your everyday maths that you can get problem solving and reasoning into your lessons. So it's an expectation that children have of their maths lessons. We're going to be looking at a range of teaching approaches to answer the question, which is always fundamental to me. Whenever I'm working with children, Jeffrey and I, we still work with children, we still teach children. In fact, on Friday morning, I've got to teach year 2 and year 3, and they know it's always problem solving. So, what you do with us today, kind of thing, because they just see me as the problem lady. I'm not sure if that's a good connection or not, but it's a woman who gives us problems. But my fundamental question when I'm planning is this the best way for children to learn about this aspect of mathematics? What am I going to say? What are the questions I'm going to use? What are the resources I'm going to use? How am I expecting them to work? How do I expect them to talk about what they're doing? All those sort of questions go through my mind. But that's the fundamental one. Is this the best way? But I use my AFL because if it didn't work, my assessment for learning is what am I going to do next time then? Yeah, so it's all sort of tied in together. We're going to experience a great variety of mathematical problems. Popcorn was just the start of it today. Okay, that sets the tone for the rest of the day. Experience a variety of mathematical problems based on the strands of using number skills, measuring skills and data skills. So we'll be looking at the strands and the elements there. But throughout the day we're going to adopt a sort of a look, listen and note approach. So in the ways of working, you'd essentially be working in 2s, 3s or 4s or however many your group allows. To expect 2 people always to be doing the activity and 1 person to be doing a look, listen and note approach to observe learning. Because we can all engage with the activities and have really good fun and talk about it, but if 1 person's role is to observe and to listen and to note down the learning that you are demonstrating in solving the problems, that helps you in terms of making your assessment and your judgments on whether your colleagues in this instance are applying their numeracy skills, are using their measuring skills, are using their problem solving skills in order to work with the activity. And I think sometimes as teachers we focus so much on the teaching and controlling the situation and giving out the resources and guiding the children desperate because we want them to achieve. We forget to sometimes sit back and watch and listen, ask some probing questions, do some appropriate interventions, because if you're guiding and teaching all the time, how can you make the judgment if children really know and understand and are applying their numeracy? Okay, just to remind you where we are with our numeracy. It describes a set of skills needed to tackle real-world problems. And I just overheard someone talking about a real-world problem. So hopefully today they will be relevant, meaningful, but also interesting and motivating, that your children are going to want to solve these problems. But in solving the problems and tackling their real-world problems, we're looking at really genuinely applying numerical reasoning, applying what we know to work out what we don't know, and making those decisions about, well, what do I know and how can I apply it to this situation? Particularly how to plan an investigation and then carry it out and then reflect on what I've now found out. Okay? It is slightly different to mathematics in that in this case numeracy is looking at the application of the skills learned in mathematics in a cross-curricular real-world way and not purely about the math skills themselves. So in a sense you have to know about the mathematics in order to then apply it to the numeracy. A little word about assessment. It's assessment for learning. It's formative and used to support learner progress, classroom planning and curriculum planning. Okay? It's important in that you use your assessment to monitor progress and discuss next steps. I always talk about teaching impacting on learning, but learning impacting on teaching as well. It's a two-way process in that sense. Okay, and then finally, pedagogy. Basically, if you carry on doing the same thing, you're not going to get anything different, are you? So if we think about reviewing our pedagogy and thinking about perhaps the changes that we can make to get better outcomes in terms of problem solving and reasoning and numeracy across the curriculum, that's going to be absolutely essential to having success in this. So we need to tie all those together.